Okay, I think my voice is clear. If anyone has issue in my hearing voice, and can you see my screenshots? I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah, it's clear and screen is also visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So let us start the session. So today, like we are going to discuss about like introduction to data engineering. So we will start with basics, and we will discuss about what we are going to cover in the course. So in the course, what we are going to cover, we will discuss about the AWS services and the tools we are going to use, and the language we are going to use. Like we will discuss about that, and we will discuss about the environment setup. So what are the trial account you need, or in local, what are the installation you have to do? We will discuss about that also. Okay. So first, let us start. So for data engineering, so as I said previous in the introduction session, so for data engineering, data analytics is important, right? Because they are the consumers. So in organization, data analytics plays a major role because that is the actual end user. They are the end users who are the end customers for us. So we work with the data analytics team or advanced analytics. So it analytics helps organization to improve their decision making. It solves their problems. It identifies new opportunities, and it improves the efficiency of an organizations. Okay, so you are in an enterprise, that can be any sector. So let us say data analytics can be in any of the sector, right? It can be manufacturing, healthcare, consumers, e-commerce, media, education, transportation, different sectors, right? So in all the sectors, data analytics plays a major role in doing decision making, in helping them to identify new opportunities, improve their efficiency. It provides you feedback to collect the information and improve their efficiency. It helps to solve their complex problems. Okay, so this is very important to know because we need to know the end goal, right? So what we are doing it in organization, how we are helping the business. So if you are not going to help the business, point in having data engineering team, right? And if there is we are not adding value to organizations, then slowly we are not going to be there, right? The team will be dissolved. Okay, so we need to know what is the end goal of the data engineering team. So we are going to work with the analytics team here. Okay, so analytics team are going to work with the business in solving their day-to-day problem. So the problem can be different problems, right? So it can be customer side problems. It can be market intelligence, identifying the market intelligence, or supply chain issues, or recommendations, audience targeting, or data driven innovations. So different use cases. There are different use cases. It helps to improve business operations, and also it helps you to implement advanced analytics of AI, generative AI, all these things, solutions on a enterprise. Okay, so without data, you cannot implement analytics. You cannot implement generative AI or AI or machine learning. All this thing needs the data. So you need to bring the data, then only you can do it. That too for enterprise, they have different sources. So that is very important for them to collect the data and then they have to do it. Okay. So now let us go in organizations, they have database, they have data warehouse, they have data marts and data lake. So why they have different? So why we are seeing about data layers here? Because we are working on data engineering, and we are going to work with different storage systems. We are going to work with different data layers. So we need to understand what are the storage systems are there and what are the data components are there in organizations. So that is why we are analyzing in organizations what are the database they have, or what are the data warehouse they have, or data marts or data lake. Okay, so why database? What is the need of database? To store data. So I work for a e-commerce product, or I work for a retail or banking. They have applications. They have applications, web applications or mobile applications, or enterprise applications. The data of the customers are stored at last in database. Okay, so the database can be relational database or NoSQL database. It can be different kind of database. But your data are getting stored in a structured system in the operational database. Okay, so in organizations, they have database. So they have database. The database can be MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, anything, right? Any of the relational RDBMS system. Okay, this RDBMS system stores the current data or the operational data from applications. Okay, so from the web applications or from enterprise applications, the data are stored in the database. If they have database, then why they need data warehouse? Why they need data mart? Why they need data lake? So why in organizations, why they need different data storage layers? Because this is not scalable. The problem with your database, it is not scalable. That means when my users are increasing and my applications are increasing, I cannot store all the data here. If I store, this system will have performance issue. It will have outage. It may go down. So that is the problem with the database, traditional database. That is why companies were using data warehouse. They had their data lake, like different kind of data layers. So in organizations, so for doing analytics, they need data. The data they collect from different sources. So the sources, the data, they collect the data. The data comes in different format. It can be CSV format, JSON format, or data comes in like XML form, or data can be in a structured form. And data can be like image files can be there. You can have PDFs, Word document, video files. So the data can be in different form, right? So you can have structured data, you can have semi-structured data, you can have unstructured data also. So you may need to store all this data. So why I need to store unstructured data? Because in the current environment, when you are going to work with machine learning or when you are going to work with AI systems, they are going to use your unstructured data also. Okay, so they are going to identify patterns from this and they are going to analyze with your structured data and they are going to do predictions for the future. So they may analyze your images, they may analyze your video files, PDF, Word. So they may be using this data also. So along with your structured data, you want to store unstructured data. That is why data lake comes into picture. So what is data lake? Data lake, it's in cloud. If you have AWS or Azure or GCP, right? So any of the systems, you can create data lake. So why they call it as data lake? Because you can store any type of format. You can store any type of data into data lake and it is highly scalable and the charges are very cheaper there and it is highly available. That means it will not go down at all. It's always available. Even they are running it in multiple regions, multiple availability zones. So this will be always available. So if you want to store lot of data, you can use data lake. So if you are using AWS, in AWS we have S3. So S3 is the data lake. So in S3, I can create buckets. I can store data. So if you are using Azure, we have ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage. In S3, in AWS, we have S3. In Google Cloud, we have GCS, Google Cloud Storage. Okay, all these things are data lake. The purpose of this are similar, right? So it's meant for storing structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. You can store different type of data into data lake. Okay, so I have social media data. So I have data coming from social media. I want to store it into some place. The data is huge. I cannot store it into database, but I can store it in data lake. So why we are storing social media data? Because I have to do some recommendations. I have to see which product is highly searched in the social media to see the trends, to analyze the trend, or to see the recommendations. I need the social media data. Okay, so we are collecting various data from different system, bringing into our data layers. So that the unstructured data we are storing in data lake. Okay, so far we have seen what is database and what is data lake. Okay, so now let us go to data warehouse. So we have database which has operational data. So that means current data, because this is not scalable. So the current 6 month of data or 1 year of data is there here. But the organization is operating for more than 10 years or 20 years. So what about the historical data? So historical data is there in data warehouse. So here it's again a structured storage area. So this is again a structured data store. But here you can store large amount of data. And this is the enterprise version. Okay, so your data warehouse, it's an enterprise product. So it's involved cost. So if you are going to use data warehouse, you are going to pay for the enterprise. Like Redshift, you can see you would have heard about Redshift, uh, Snowflake, BigQuery, Azure Synapse Analytics, all are data warehouse, all are enterprise products. That means if you are going to use these products, you have to pay and use it. Okay. So data warehouse, it's highly scalable. It can store large amount of data, but you can store only structured data. The data quality, it can store high quality of data. Okay, so we use this data warehouse for analytics and data science. So I have data lake. I can store large amount of data in data lake. Why I need data warehouse here? So data lake is there where I can, it's highly scalable, it's cheaper. But why I need data warehouse here? Because data warehouse, you can run fast SQL here. You can run fast SQL. So your consumers, like data analytics consumers, you have dashboards, you are working on reports, you are working on reporting tools. For all the dashboards reporting tools, you need faster SQL. For that, your data warehouse is the best solution than data lake, because data warehouse are fast in running your SQLs and giving response. It can give response in faster. But data lake are going to be slower. The response times are going to be slower. So your consumers, they can use data lake, but for few scenarios, and for data warehouse for few scenarios. So they are going to use data lake for few scenarios and data warehouse for few scenarios. So we will see what are the scenarios they use and what are the use cases are there for data warehouse and data lake. But the advantage of data warehouse is like it's faster. It's very faster. It's going to give response faster, and you can store structured data, and you are going to access the data from different tools, from different system you can access. So that is the advantage of data warehouse. Now let us go back. So you can see here data warehouse. In data warehouse, we store organization wide data, and it is a structured form, and you define the schema. So in data warehouse, we create tables and we write the data. Whereas in data lake, you can have unstructured data, you can have semi-structured data, CSV data, Parquet data, and dynamically you can, while reading the data, you can build schema. So that is again, in data lake, you can have different type of data, structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. And now what is data mart? So we have seen what is database, we have seen what is data warehouse. What is data mart? So data mart is again a data warehouse, but it stores department specific data. So that means in organizations, you want to there are multiple departments like sales, finance, HR. There are multiple departments. So they use like organization wide data is there in data warehouse, and each department have their own data marts, which is again a data warehouse, but it stores only department specific data. Okay, so that data warehouse is called data mart. Okay. So data warehouse, there is one question here in the chat. So what underlying technology a data warehouse? So data warehouse, it's a combination of multiple things. A data warehouse was there in the on premises. Previously, there were data warehouse tools which was there in on premises, and now cloud-based data warehouse systems are there. Like if you see, Redshift is a cloud-based data warehouse system. Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse system. So in data warehouse, you have multiple things there. Okay, it's not only compute, right? You have storage, compute, transformation layer. So you have multiple things. It's a framework. It's a framework which has multiple things in data warehouse. Okay. So we have seen what is database, what is data warehouse, what is data mart, and data lake. So in organizations, we are going to use all this thing. We are going to work on all this thing. So now let me, so we can see here, we have what are the types of data. We have structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. We have geospatial data, open source data. Like that, we have different types of data. So we are going to handle different types of data in the data platform or data engineering. Okay. Okay. Now let us come to the modern data platform, which we already have discussed in the introduction session, right? So in organizations, they have a data platform. In the data platform, you have different layers. So we will be working on the data platform. So we are going to work on the data platform on any of this layer. So we may use data lake, we may use data warehouse. So you can see all the components are here, right? So you can see data lake is there, data warehouse is there, OLTP is there. That is your database. And data marts are there with the data warehouse. So data mart is a subdivision of your data warehouse. Okay, so I see one more question here. Can we say data marts are part of data warehouse with different schema? Yeah, we can say that also. So in a smaller organization, the data marts can be with your data warehouse also. In a larger organization, the data marts can be a separate data warehouse tool by itself. Okay, so that means organization wide they may have they may have one data warehouse, and department specific they may have their own data warehouse. Like organization wide they may be using Snowflake, and department wise they may be using Redshift, or they may use Snowflake also. Okay, so your data marts can be part of your centralized data warehouse, or it can be a separate product also. It's about the business group and business about the organizations. And one more question: if we store historical data in data warehouse, how it will be fast in reading huge data? Okay, so in when I said database, it's running on this database is running on a single machine, but it can be a high power machine. Okay, you can use high power CPU, high power RAM, but it is going to be single machine. And how you can do load balancing? You can what you can do is you can put a load balance setup and add multiple machines. Copy the data into multiple machines. So that means I can have 3 single machines and replicate the data. So in database, you do replication. So you replicate the data. That means I copy the same data in all the machines, and I implement a load balancer. So I implement a load balancer. So with the help of load balancer, the load will be sent to any of these machines. As all the machine has the replica of the data, so you can handle high volume of traffic. So so in database, this is how high volume of data is traffic is handled. Okay, by doing replication. So you do replication, whereas in data warehouse, we are going to have multiple machines. So we are going to have multiple machine, and this machines can parallelly run and share your data, and this can run, each can have like a CPU, RAM, everything, and you can scale it up also. The advantage here is it's going to be here you're going to do horizontal scaling. So I can horizontally scale by adding more machine. I can use each machine CPU and parallelly process it. So in your data warehouse, you can horizontally scale it, and you are doing partition. So you are splitting the data by partition. So you can do parallel processing. So it can handle large amount of data. It's meant for processing large amount of data. Okay, so the main purpose of database is transactional data. It is meant for handling transaction of data, but your data warehouse is meant for handling large amount of data. So it can process large amount of data by using multiple machines, using multiple machine CPU and then RAM. So I see one question from someone. Yeah, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi, well, Rahul this side.
Yeah.
Well, just a quick question. So, since you said database is an OLTP transactional system and data warehouse stores historical data, so is there a regular syncing that happens between a database table and a data warehouse table?
Yeah. You can see in our sources, right? Your OLTP is one of the source. So your sync is happening like in a full mode or a streaming mode. The sync is happening between your OLTP and data warehouse.
Okay, okay,
Regularly it happens.
okay,
Okay, so daily we sync it, or incrementally we sync the data from your database to data warehouse.
okay. All right. Yeah.
Uh, data sharding, database sharding is same as a load balancer. One more question here. Data sharding, it's like a different technique. Database sharding is you can do it on NoSQL system. It's not same as load balancer. Okay, so data sharding, it's like it's done on the NoSQL system. You cannot do it for RDBMS system. Okay, so we will discuss about the questions, because at the last 15 minutes or last 30 minutes, we will have all the questions. Otherwise, what will happen is we are going to drag the session for 1 hour and 1.5 hours. So it's going to be going to delay for everyone. Okay, so you can ask all your questions at end of the sessions. Okay, so far we have discussed what is database, what is data warehouse, data mart, and data lake. So we are going to build a data platform. In data platform, we are going to collect data from various sources, and we have a storage layer where for data engineering, we are not going to store it into database. Okay, we are going to store it into data warehouse or data lake. Why? Because we are collecting from various sources, and the data are going to be huge. So we are going to store it into data lake or data warehouse. Okay, and the database is one of the source for us. Other than that, we have different sources. So we may collect data from different sources. Okay, so this is the data platform we are going to build. So for building this data platform, we need different things, right? So we need to do ingestion. For ingestion, we need tools. We need frameworks for doing that. For storage, we need to have some tools. For cataloging, we need tools. For processing, so for building a data platform, you build using different services, different tools. So for that, in AWS, we use lot of services. So for few services for ingestion, few services for like storage, few services for catalog, few services for processing, like that. For building a data platform, we are going to use AWS services, and we are going to use some open source tool. So we are going to use some open source tool, and we are going to use SQL Python for writing code. We are going to write code using these tools, and we are going to build a data platform. So in organizations, we are going to work on the data platform. We are going to use different AWS services. Okay, so as we said in the previous session, so we are going to work with different datas. So we are going to take relational data, non-relational, NoSQL data, big datas. We are going to work with log data, machine learning data. So in a modern data architecture, you are going to use all these datas. Okay, so modern data architecture or a modern data platform, it's built on enterprise. It's not there in a smaller organization, right? Why it is not there in smaller organization? Because they don't have all this thing, right? They don't have all these layers. They are not doing a machine learning. They are not doing analytics. They are not doing reporting. They are not doing intelligence, right? They are not going to do all this. They are going to work on like their operational activity. So, for example, let us say you are let us say e-commerce business. Let us compare a smaller e-commerce company and let us compare with Flipkart or Amazon. So if you see in Flipkart or Amazon, you have a lot of intelligence, right? So you can see there are a lot of recommendations happening. There are a lot of users uh, informations are getting captured, and they provide you a lot of informations for you to buy new product, or they provide you discounts. They provide you informations about new upcoming products. So when you are working with a bigger customer, they have, other than the core operations, they have other systems like analytics. They do machine learning. They do reporting, data science. So they do a lot of things other than the core operations. So the core operation is there. Still they continue to do. Other than the core operations, they work on the intelligence layer that helps them to improve their business, provide feedback, bring a lot of customers inside. Okay, so all this analytics intelligence are going to bring more customers. So that is where they are investing more money. So their product can reach more customers here. So that is why when you are working on a modern data platform, we are getting data from different systems here, machine learning or operational systems, big data system, logs, data warehouse. So we are going to work with different systems. Okay, so for this, we are going to use different services. So we are going to use S3, IM. So let us see all the services later. So we are going to use S3 data lake, IM for permissions. We are going to use RDS, DynamoDB. We are going to see all the services in the course. Okay, so let us see. So in the ingestion process, so when I was showing the modern data platform, you can see ingestion, storage layer, processing layer. So in ingestion process, we may use S3. S3 is our data lake. So we will start with S3. So we are going to start with S3, and we may use other services like DMS, Glue, SFTP, like file transfer. We'll use all this in ingestion. Then we will go for orchestration, cataloging, data processing. So we will be using different services in AWS. So we are going to cover different services in AWS. So we will cover one by one. So we will start with S3 and we will use IM here. So we will start with IM S3. Then we will go to RDS DynamoDB and we'll go Glue catalog, lake formation, and Athena. So these are the order we are going to get into AWS services. So we are building a data platform. So modern data platform. For building a modern data platform, we are going to use all the services, and we use programming language like SQL, Python, Spark, and we use different kind of data formats. We use CSV, JSON, Parquet, Avro. For automation, we are going to use Terraform, and we will use other open source tools. We will use other open source tools. We will see data warehouse like Snowflake and Airflow. Okay, so these are the things we are going to cover in the course. Okay, so like here, as I said, in the modern data platform, so modern data platform, it's already there in lot of organizations. A bigger company, the modern data platform is already there. And you, when you join an organization, you will start working on any of this layer. So this modern data platform, they keep upgrading with the latest features. They keep adding new projects here. So when you get into organizations, you may work on any of this layer. So the company expect you to have knowledge on this. They need you because they were not going to train you on all these layers, right? Because it takes a lot of time for them to train, and they don't have resources also to train. So they don't have the skill set also to train. Sometimes, like in the organizations, there is no skill set to train also. So, but they have projects. They will put you into project, and you will work on the data platform. So you will work on data warehouse. You will work on data lake. You will work on the ingestion layer or data processing layer. So you are not going to build the data platform, right? You are not going to build from scratch. It's already there in organizations. So you will work on any of this layer. But you need to understand high level how this works. So it will be easier for you to visualize and work on the individual component. Okay, so if you get into enterprise, you are not going to work on the entire data platform. You will work on ingestion layer, or you are going to work on the storage layer or cataloging layer. So, but you need to have basic knowledge on all these layers. So that is why the interviews or in the job description, they will put everything in the job descriptions. They may put all the AWS services. They may look for multiple things because you need to have basic knowledges, because they also don't know which layer you are going to work. Are you going to work on data processing, or you are going to work on storage layer or ingestion layer? They don't know. So they expect you to have basic knowledge on all this thing, and you should have some core knowledge on whichever thing project you are going to work, that you have to have deeper knowledge. So you need to have basic knowledge about the data platform and in-depth knowledge about the layer you work. Okay, so you need to have architecture knowledge, high level functional knowledge, and in-depth knowledge on any one of this layer. So that is how you can like project yourself in interviews. That means you worked on ingestion layer, or you worked on storage layer or processing layer, you can project yourself. Okay, in the course, as I said, first thing we are going to start the project one. So the project one, we will use this one and build the project one. So these are the things we are going to use and build the project one. And project two, we will add this layers to the project two. And project three, we will use Snowflake and few of the services. So we will go cover one by one. We will start with basics and cover one by one. So we are going to cover from ingestion layer, storage layer, cataloging, and processing layer. So we are going to cover everything. So you will have high level knowledge, and you are going to have in-depth knowledge on few of the layers here. Okay, so for this, to start from tomorrow, we are going to start working sessions, right? So we are going to start working with some thing on cloud, something on local. So you need to set up the environment. The first step is create your cloud account. So you have to create your AWS account, go for free tier, use your email ID, and create your free tier account. So that is the first step to do. So it will ask for credit card informations. So you have to provide your credit card informations. They will charge you $1, but they will refund it. So it's like your AWS account. It's pay after usage. That means you pay for 1 month, then you are going to pay it. Like you pay after end of the month. They are not going to charge anything upfront. They are going to charge after a month. So you can monitor that and see the usage. So the first step is you need to have AWS account. If you already have an AWS account, you can verify that. Are you able to log in and you are able to access different services? You can verify. If you don't have account, you can sign up and create a new account. Okay, that is the first thing you can do. And the next thing is, in your local environment, we need to have few setups. So I'll list down one by one. So in your local environment, you need to have Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have Visual Studio, you can follow these instructions and install it. Okay, so you can install Visual Studio Code. You can install AWS CLI. So this you can, if you have Windows machine, you can click on this URL and download the exe and install it for Visual Studio Code. Again, for AWS CLI, you can follow this instruction and install it. So let me open Visual Studio Code. Okay, once you install it, you can go to the terminal. So for example, so why Visual Studio Code here? Because we are going to write Python code, we may be writing SQL, or we may be writing Terraform code. So it's a editor, it's a text editor which shows the code and it's easier to work on the code. Okay, so we are going to work on multiple code. So we are going to use Visual Studio Code for editing Python or SQL. So we'll be using Visual Studio Code. So extension, you don't have to do it now. I'll tell for Snowflake, we have to install some extension, which we will do it later. We don't have to install any extension. For now, you can just install Visual Studio Code and then go to terminal. You can see new terminal. So in Visual Studio Code, let me, in my local machine, I'm going to C folder and I'll go to dev. So I created a data engineering project, or you can create any folders, right? So for example, I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm creating a new folder and then I can open that folder in Visual Studio Code. Okay, I can open this. So I can write Python here. So I can write Day01.py. So I can write Python code here, or I can write Terraform here. So I can write Terraform code here. So in Visual Studio Code, you can write different type of code. So it's nothing but a folder. So your data is stored here inside the folder. And here you can run it. For example, Python, I can click here and write my Python. So for that, you have to install Python. So I'm running the Python code here. So you can see in my local, the Python is already installed. So I can just click on the run and run the Python file. So if you see in the installation document, first step is installing Visual Studio, AWS CLI, then Python. So you have to download Python and install it. So you can verify after downloading AWS CLI, you can verify AWS command. So if you give AWS command or AWS version, it will show you. So the command is AWS -- version. So this shows you AWS CLI is installed in your local, and Python. So Python is installed in my local. So you have to install Visual Studio Code. You have to install AWS CLI. You have to install Python, and then we need to install Docker Desktop. Okay, so Docker Desktop, you have to download it and install. Why Docker Desktop? Because for when you are working on Spark will not work on your Windows machine. It will work, but it will have a lot of errors. It may throw a lot of errors, but it will work good on Linux. Okay, so Spark works good on Linux environment. So what we are doing, we are installing Docker Desktop in our local environment. So you can see here, I'm installing Docker Desktop, and we can start our Linux container. So using Docker, we are starting a Linux container, and we are starting notebooks here. Okay, so we are going to run. Let me open. So I have already installed Docker desktop in my local, and I have installed Docker extension in Visual Studio to install Docker extension. That we'll do next step. You don't have to do this step. We'll do next step, this one, Docker installation, setting up the project, everything. We will do it. Once you complete the first one, we'll go for the next step, this one. So I'm running my Docker. So I can access my Jupyter notebook. So it's running still. Let us see. So your Docker container is up. So you can see a Docker container. So this is a Linux container. So on Linux container, we are running Spark. So on my Windows machine, I have a Linux container. On top of Linux container, I have Spark running in a Jupyter notebook. So I can access notebooks and I can write code here. So you can see we are writing code here. So from this, I can run Spark code. I can connect to RDS. I can connect to S3. I can read data from. So I can do a lot of transformations. I can work on Spark logics here. Okay, in local. So why we are doing this? To avoid glue cost here. So because in AWS, you can use glue for running Spark, but they charge you for each run, they are going to charge you. So initially, for development, for learning, we don't want to use this. Once you get into projects, you can use Glue Studio. Okay, so we can use Glue, but to learn, we are going to use Jupyter Notebook because here it's easier. I can easily debug, I can run the code and easily work on the SQL. I can verify it by running here. So you can go to kernel, restart the kernel. So I can connect to S3. I can connect to, for example, let me go into. Okay, here let us go to this code. So if you see here, I'll go to Jupyter Notebook. I'm restarting the kernel. I can access my S3 data. So S3 is cheaper. It's part of free tier. So you don't have to pay anything for S3. So my data can be there in S3. I can write my transformation logic. I can write my SQL transformation logic in the notebook. I can do all my development here. So once I complete all this thing, then you can go and deploy it in Glue and run it in cluster. So you save, you do development faster and then you run it in a distributed fashion. So that saves you time and it's easier to work on the Jupyter notebook. So you can run it one by one. And if there is any error, you can fix it immediately. Okay. So that is the advantage of running Docker on local. So if you like Docker will work on Linux machines, will work on Mac machines. So if you are having Linux or if you are having Mac already, then you can straight away install Docker. Okay, so you don't have to do all the setups. You can reach me out. I'll tell you. We will do a setup separately for that. Okay, if you have Windows machine, you need Docker desktop. Otherwise, you don't have to install Docker desktop. You can use the like this all the thing. You can run it directly. The entire source code you can run it directly on Linux or Mac. So you can run this Docker Compose file directly on the Linux or Mac environment. So if you have Windows machine, then you need to follow this Docker setup. Okay. So you don't have to do the setup now. First step is installing all this thing, right? So you have to install Visual Studio, AWS CLI, Python, Docker desktop, and the last one is DBeaver. Okay, what is DBeaver? I'll show that. So DBeaver is a client tool. Okay, you can see here. So DBeaver is a we are using community version. We are not using enterprise version. We are using community version. So you can connect to multiple database. So in organizations, you have multiple database like MySQL, SQL Server. I want to connect it and validate my data. So I have connected to. You can see I connected to SQL Server. I can go to the database, validate my data. So DBeaver is a client tool. You can connect to the server and then you can validate your data. So I can see my tables, I can see my data, I can write SQLs here. So you can see I can see my data. I'm connected to SQL server. I can connect to MySQL. I can connect to RDS. I can connect to different database. Okay, I can connect to different database. So it supports. So you can see here it supports multiple popular SQL, NoSQL, and different database. So you can install DBeaver in local because we are going to use MySQL. We are going to use SQL server to validate the data. We will use DBeaver. Okay. And in local, in your local environment, we are using Docker desktop mainly for Spark. Okay, so if you want to run Python, we will run it on directly in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you don't need Docker containers if you are going to run directly on cloud on Glue. So we are running Spark. For learning Spark only, we are installing the Docker desktop here. Okay. I see few questions here. So CLI, I think already it's answered. So AWS CLI is a command line interface. So why we are installing it, I'll tell you that. So once you install AWS CLI, so AWS CLI is a command line interface. So we are going to work on AWS resource, right? So we are going to work on S3, we are going to work on Glue, RDS, different AWS services. So if you install AWS CLI in your local, I can from my local the Visual Studio Code or Jupyter Notebook, I can connect to my cloud. I can use the data from cloud, or I can work with RDS. I can work with different services. I can do automation here using Terraform. So that is the help with the help of AWS CLI. You are going to do automation. You are going to work with your AWS resources. Okay, that is the purpose of installing AWS CLI in your local. Okay, so we have seen. You have to do all this installation in the weekend. So Monday we are going to start working on few of the things, right? So we are going to start with IM, S3, and the next steps. So before that, you have to do all this setup in your local. Okay, so you can set up your local Windows machine, can install Docker. Previously, for a lot of them, this Docker took a lot of time. So you can start it early and try to set it up because Monday, I'm going to show you how to set up this project. So in your local environment, how you can run this and how you can access the Jupyter Notebook and how you can use CLI, how to use S3. So we are going to see that. So you should already have the software installed and it should be working in your local. So it will be easier for you to follow and do day by day. Okay. Okay. So if you have Mac, you don't have to do Docker desktop. You can just install VS Code, Python, and AWS CLI. So that is the thing you can do it. You don't have to install Docker desktop. So once you install Docker, you can verify that. For example, you can go to your command line. So you can go to terminal. So in your Visual Studio Code, so in the Visual Studio Code, you can go to terminal, or the other option is you can open your command line, command prompt. Okay, all the code. So AWS version will work here. So you can see AWS version is working. The Python will work here. So after the installation, all this thing will work. It's not only on Visual Studio, right? It will work on your command line also. And here, Docker PS. So you can see it shows what the containers are running. You can verify this. Are you able to access Docker? So if you're using Mac, if you're using Ubuntu, if you're running some Linux machines, then you verify you are able to see Docker containers. For to verify that, you can install the MySQL Docker. Okay, I'm going to install MySQL Docker. So using one line command, right? So I can using this 2-line command, I can pull a MySQL Docker container and install it my local.
So do we have separate document for the Mac and Windows for the installation steps?
So for the installations, right, we don't have a separate document. You can install like Visual Studio. You can install Python, and then you can install DBeaver. For DBeaver also Mac is available.
Yeah, I have a Mac. I don't know like what are the things are you need to install and what by default you told Docker is not required, right? But
Your voice is too low. Can be a little bit louder.
yeah, what I'm saying is in Mac you told Docker is not required, right?
No, in Mac, Docker desktop is not required, but you should have Docker. I will send you steps. Okay, I'm going to send you for Mac. I will send you the steps.
Okay.
You can follow that, and then you can see if you are able to install it.
So will you also cover like a high level, like what is Docker, what is Terraform, like before implementing that? Or do we need to have that skills?
We will be covering high level information about Terraform. I'll be explaining it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll explain the code also, and what is the usage, I'll explain.
Yeah, because we are not aware about the Docker and Terraform. We never worked on that. So
Yeah. So here the first step is we are doing installation, right? I'm not getting into details. So the first step is installation. So you're going to download exe and install it. So I'll explain everything. I'll explain what is Docker, why we are using Docker here, why we are using Terraform. We will see one by one. Okay. And here the Terraform installation is missing here. I'll add that also. I'll send this latest document which will have Terraform also. So you have to install Terraform also in your local. I'll give the steps for that. Okay, so this everything, what you are going to do is, you're going to install it on your local, download the exe, install it in your local, verify that is working or not. Then when you are going to learn, it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so why we are using Docker here, I'll tell you why we are using Docker. So what is Docker? Docker is nothing but like I want to do installations. For example, I want to install MySQL in my local machine, Windows machine. So how I can do installation? I have to download the MySQL server, install it in my Windows, then configure it. So installation will take a lot of steps. It's easier to do, but configuration is a little bit difficult, right? So I have to configure a few things like port, username, password, a lot of things I have to do. But in Docker, they provide you as an image. They provide you as a Linux image. So you have a Docker registry. You have Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is the place where you can find all kind of softwares. So I can go here, I can search for MySQL, or I can search for Oracle SQL Server. So any software I want, I can search here. So it should be open source software, not enterprise software. I can search for the software and install it in 2 steps, 2 lines of command. So you can see the installation is for a MySQL server. The installation is 2 lines of command. So you can see here, I am pulling the Docker. So I'm pulling MySQL. So what it does, it goes to your Docker Hub. It takes this image, it pulls the image into local. So it's a image, it's a Linux image. So it pulls the image into local. And the next command I'm saying, I'm giving username, password, and port, and I'm asking it to store the data in local. So these 2 lines of command, I can start MySQL. So this, your Docker helps you to install something very quickly. Okay, so you don't have to spend a lot of time on installation. So in this course, you don't have to get deeper into Docker because we are not DevOps. We are not going to do DevOps. So you don't have to get into containers or Docker framework. But what we are trying to do is we want to do installation faster, like MySQL installation local faster, or Jupyter Notebook installation in local faster. For that, we are using Docker. Okay, so we use AWS Glue. So we use this container. So we use this container for running Spark. Okay, this container is provided by AWS. So this it's not there in Windows. This works only on Linux. So in our Windows machine, we have Docker. So using the help of Docker, we are installing this container and we so that is how we are learning Spark here. So I already have pulled MySQL. I'll start the MySQL. So it says already MySQL is running. I'll go to my Docker and I'll remove the old one. So you can delete it and then run it again here. Okay, you can see MySQL start. So it was very quick, right? The installation is very quick here. I can go here, go to my DBeaver, test connection. Still MySQL is not up. So you can see I'm testing the URL, username, password. I'm checking if MySQL server is up or not. Still it is not up. It's still running. So I can click on the Docker and see. So it's starting the MySQL server. Okay, so your Docker is nothing but it's going to help you in installing something faster. So I see a few questions. Jupyter Notebook, Spark, both need Docker container. Which one needs Docker? Okay, I am going to share Docker Compose and the entire code in the next session. Okay, day 2, I am going to share that code. For today, I'm not going to share it because today you are going to set it up all the installation of software, right? Monday I'll share you the Docker Compose. I'll share the code and then set up for that, because for that we have another document. You have to follow that document for the installation. So I'll give you that document and then the Docker Compose everything. So why we need Jupyter Notebook? So for easier for running the code, Spark code and SQL everything, we are using Jupyter Notebook. And Spark and Jupyter Notebook are there in same container. Once you install Spark container, Jupyter Notebook is there, so you don't have to install separately. Okay, I think MySQL, let us check. I'll go here, test connection. So now you can see MySQL also. You can see server is connected. From my DBeaver, I can go and quickly connect to database. I can refresh this. So already in my local, I already have data in MySQL. Okay, you can see all the data are there. I'm able to quickly. So like Docker helps me to quickly install a software. That is the why we are using Docker here. That too, you want to run a Linux container, and we want to install Linux container. On top of Linux, we want to install Jupyter Notebook and then Spark. So that is the main purpose for going into Docker here. Otherwise, we are not going to get in deeper into Docker. So Terraform, we are not going to use Docker and Terraform. We are going to run scripts in Terraform. So you don't have to get deeper into Docker. Okay, so we have covered today about high level, about what we are going to see in the course. And we have seen what are the data layers and what are the services we are going to cover. High level we have seen. We will get into each of this, right? So we are going to get into each of these sections individually. The first step is creating your AWS account and doing installation. That is the first step. The next step is setting up the local environment, Jupyter Notebook environment, and run our code. That is the next step. We will do one by one. Okay. So any questions from anyone so far on the session about the topic? Any questions from anyone?
One question, then. So,
Yeah.
from an ingestion perspective, whether it is batch or streaming, So will we be using any tool specific to AWS or any external tool like Fivetran or Click Replicate for ingestion?
For ingestion, we will use glue itself for ingestion. Okay, we will use glue for ingestion also, and in AWS you have DMS, data migration service. Okay, which we can use it for ingestion. So we will see DMS, but DMS has a lot of issues. But we need to know, like in real world, they use DMS. So they may ask you, they may compare and ask you. So what is DMS? So we need to know what is DMS, AWS DMS. So we will see this also, and we will use glue also. I'll explain little bit about uh, like in like open source tool. Airbyte is there. I'll show a little bit on Airbyte. But for ingestion, for the project, we are going to use glue. Glue to do ingestion.
Understood. Understood. And will the document that you will share for all these installations, we will try
Yeah. So I'm going
Yeah.
to share one by one. Like if I share everything on one go, right, it will get confused. So today I'm going to share only this document, local development setup, where you have to install all this one by one. And if you have issues, you can contact me in WhatsApp. So if you have installation setup, you are installing something and it's failing you can contact me in WhatsApp. I'll help you. So Monday we will set up the next one. We'll set up the AWS CLI. We will make sure the CLI is working in local, and we will set up the Jupyter notebook. We will make sure your Jupyter notebook is working. That is the next part we will do it. For that, I will share a different document.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. And well, what is your contact number? I'm not sure if I have it.
You can in the WhatsApp you can see, right. Like today I sent messages in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
I
check.
shared the link. That's from I shared the Zoom link. Okay, you
Okay.
can click on that and see that number.
Okay.
So you can ask questions in the group itself, so others know. So if you have some questions, you can ask in the group itself. I'll explain in the group itself, so everyone has a good understanding. Or if you don't want to ask in the group, you can individually ask me. If you have issues or questions, you can ask me individually.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi, well,
yeah, go ahead.
how much charges will be going to happen for AWS if we create and if we use for the entire course?
Yeah, so if you see my account, right, you can see how much is the charges, right? Because I am using multiple things, right? So for course, I'm doing a lot of things, but you can see how the charges are very less, right? If you see for last 6 months, my charges is $33. Okay, for last 6 months. Okay, so that means I use it efficiently. Okay, it's not that not using it, right? I'm using it free tire. I'm using it efficiently, so I'm not getting charged. So I'll tell you how to use it efficiently. So you like what are the services are free? Like S3 is cheaper. S3 can use it heavily, but
Okay.
Glue you cannot use it heavily. If you use Glue, your cloud account will be charged. You'll be charged a lot of money. RDS you can use it, but you after using it you have to delete it. So I'll tell you, I'll share the Terraform script. So you should start with Terraform, and after using it you have to delete it. So if you are living, RDS is free for, I think it's free for some 750 hours. So like let us see that. So if you are going to if you are not going to stop it, then they are going to charge you. So like that, I'll tell you what are the services are free and what are the services are cost. Mainly Glue is cost, and other thing is QuickSight. So QuickSight is they give you free for 1 month, and they are going to charge you from after 1 month. They are going to charge you $500. So don't use QuickSight. I recommend not to use QuickSight. We'll use Power BI. We'll use Power BI for visualizations. Power BI is free. We can install it Power BI and local and use Power BI. So you should not use QuickSight at all. Other than that, other services are going to be serverless and they charge you very less amount of money. Okay, so Lambda is cheaper, Athena is cheaper, Redshift is costly. So Redshift we are going to use, it's going to be cost. So we are going to use Snowflake. We are not going to use Redshift. We are going to use Snowflake. In Snowflake also, we are going to use free tier. So we are going to create like a 30 days trial account and use it in Snowflake. So we will not be charged for data warehouse also. And Glue, instead of Glue running it on cloud, we will use Jupyter Notebook, run it on local. So we will not be charged. We can learn Spark. You can write all your transformations on local itself. After doing everything, then you can test it on the cloud. Okay.
Okay.
And the other thing is, once you create your AWS account, you have to enable security credentials. You have to go to security credentials and enable your MFA. So to protect your account, so multi-factor authentication. So you have to give your mobile. So you can see here multi-factor authentication. Give your mobile. So like mainly your cloud account can be hacked. To avoid that, you enable MFA. So that is the best practice. You can do it. The other thing is, I will explain you how to use this Cost Explorer. So in AWS, you have Cost Explorer. I will show you some of my reports. Here, like we will monitor every 3 days once or 7 days once, so that you know what is happening. Your account, what are the services are getting used, how much are you are getting charged. So if you see some charges, right, I'll help you to delete the services or avoid this cost. Okay, that we will do it while learning the course.
So this free account, like I long ago, like 1-2 years ago, I already registered with my mobile number. So this is mobile number specific or credit card?
This is like your email ID, right? Email or mobile ID. So mobile number only. I think if you are logged with mobile number, then it will be mobile number. But
So I need to use another mobile, another number, or
yeah, another number or email. You can use another email and log in.
okay.
If your existing account works, they may ask you to validate the credentials again. If that works,
That
you
is,
use
this is valid for 1 year only, right? Not 200
yeah,
transactions.
it's valid for 1 year. Then you will not have free tier
Mhm.
things. So better you can create a new one, and you can use lot of things free, right? For example, here you can see free tier. So in free tier, so I keep creating new accounts so that I get the free tier usage, right? You can see I use S3 heavily because in enterprise we use S3 heavily for a lot of things. We use S3. So my free tier S3 is 100% utilized. But if you see here, DynamoDB is utilized less, 15%. RDS is utilized 4%. And then you see other services, SNS, Glue. Glue is not part of free tier. So Lambda, you can see Lambda is part of free tier. Lambda is very cheaper. Lambda is cheaper. Step functions, you can use step functions. That is also it's free. So if you can create a new email, that is better. So you will have a lot of things with free tier.
So we already have this AWS UI, then why we need CLI? Because everything we can do from UI only, right?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we are not only going to do from UI, right? We are going to write automation, right? We are going to do a lot of things from code. So from code, we are going to create, access the resource, run the resource, create resources, right? So from local, I may create RDS. I may create different resources. I may create, put the data into S3. I may create a bucket. So I may do it from code itself, right? So I need a CLI, right?
Okay.
Okay. So why we are doing that? So think that in enterprise, you have 5 environments. Like you have dev, you have QA, prod, stage, pre-prod. Like that, you have 4 to 5 environments. You will not have access to all environment, right? You are going to have access only to dev. So in enterprise, so for bigger companies, you will have dev, QA, stage, prod. So this 4 environments you may have. You will not have access to production environment. You will not have access to stage. You will not have access to QA. You will have access only to dev. So I can go, I will have access to UI only in this environment. What about deploying here? They will not give you UI access. How you can deploy your resources? How you can create buckets here? How you will deploy glue? How you will run your ETL? You have to write automations here. That is how you can deploy it in this higher environment. And here you will write it as a code. So whatever we are doing it from UI, everything will write as a code, and that will be executed by DevOps. So you will have a DevOps team. They will run the scripts. They will run the scripts after getting business approval. So you will create a ticket, and you will give instructions. They will execute that instruction on higher environment. Okay, so this is again a compliance. Whoever is a developer should not have access to higher environments. So in a financial or like banking projects, there is a compliance. A developer who is developing the code should not have access to higher environment. That all the code, everything are moved by DevOps, and the code is executed on higher environment. So we will not do from UI. You are not going to create services. Okay, you are not going to create. So this is, I'm discussing about enterprise company, where in a bigger company. If it is a very small company, if they have only one environment, you can use UI and create it. Okay, and whatever I'm saying is for enterprise scenario for a bigger company. So that is why we are going to learn like how to create resources, how to create AWS resources by writing code, by using Terraform or Boto 3. So we may create resources and deploy or run the resources using command line. So is it clear?
Yeah.
Sir, is
Okay.
there any option to log in to AWS without a credit card, because I don't have?
You can, I don't know if debit card works. Normally it works only with credit card.
Not with debit card also it work.
Yeah,
Today
try
I-
with debit card. You tried with debit card today?
Yes, I today only
Okay,
log in.
yeah, then you can try it with debit card. So we already have one person tried, and you can try with debit card. So it's like you can take the debit card number, and I think it will ask for Visa or MasterCard. You can provide that and then give your number.
Will you be teaching Kubernetes also? Like, because
No, we are not
company
going to
has,
see Kubernetes. So
like,
Kubernetes
okay.
it's used by DevOps. Okay, so we are
Okay.
not going to use it. So we are
No,
not going to.
because in industries they are asking Kubernetes also with the
No.
DevOps, the data engineer.
Like DevOps is, it's like Kubernetes is a bigger layer to learn. So you need a separate course for learning the Kubernetes. Okay, so I can run it and show it quickly, but that is not going to help you. You are not going to learn anything from that.
Okay.
So that is why we are not touching Kubernetes at all. And that is like why we use Kubernetes, right? So I was telling operational systems, right? So operational systems.
Okay.
Let me go back my introduction slide. So you can see here. So this is how companies' architecture got evolved. So like in 1980s or 2000s, right? Companies were there in monolithic architecture. So at present, the web applications, the companies applications runs on microservices architecture, and they use containers. So the front end applications, the back end applications, everything runs on containers. So for orchestrating that, they use Kubernetes. Okay, but for a data engineer, do we need that? Because we are not going to work on front end applications or back end applications, right? We are going to work only on the database. We are going to take the data, use the data, and use it. So for that, for us, Kubernetes is not required. And we need to know the transformation layers, ETL layers, different data warehouse systems, how computation is done for data movement activity. That is how we are learning. We don't need Kubernetes. Okay, that is why in this course we are not covering about the Kubernetes or orchestration of microservices.
Any idea like why company is asking Kubernetes with a data engineer? Why they are asking? I'm not sure.
Maybe like like in few companies they want data engineers to do end to end. They want to work on everything, right? They want you to do work on DevOps side also. So
Okay,
they
okay.
may ask you to take the DevOps activity also because
Okay.
you
Yeah.
are working on the cloud. You are working on all the different architecture side. So they want you to take on the orchestration of microservices also.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. So any questions from anyone?
Yeah, hi, Vin. Subbu, I'm Subbu.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
just wanted to ask, so whatever content you've gone through today, right, mostly around the
Yeah.
installation and setting up of things, would we have access to the recording like tomorrow itself so that we can use this, go through the video and then do the installations necessary?
Yeah, yeah, the
Or
recording will be
is there
shared.
separate documentation or a stepwise procedure that we can access through the learning portal? I don't know if the learning portal has been shared before, but I just joined today. In
Learning portal will be shared only by next week. So it will take
Okay,
some time to give access for everyone. Okay. So the
okay,
learning portal, you will get access only next week. It will take
okay,
Wednesday. Till that, I will share the documents. So I'm going to share this document, the installation
okay,
step document, and I'll be sharing the video. Whatever the session is going on, the video is recorded already. I'll share the
yeah,
recording of the session also. So till
all
we
right,
get the access to the portal, right? All the content will be shared in the WhatsApp itself.
okay. And just to be clear, today's entire session is just the setup, right? Like so, over the weekend before we meet on Monday,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
expectation would be to finish this setup and be ready,
correct.
right?
Yeah, correct. So we are just installing all the softwares so that
Okay,
you know what are the basic tools we are going to use it. And
yeah,
we have not, we need a AWS cloud account. Without that, we cannot start. So everyone has to
yeah,
have the cloud account. We need to have Visual Studio Code. We need to have Docker here. So I'm giving a
yeah.
brush up on the setup, environment setups here.
Got
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Uh,
Last question. Like
yeah.
I have a Python 3.10. That is fine, right? Or I need to upgrade to 3.12 or something.
You have what version? Python?
Python 3.10 version.
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay,
3.10 is fine. You don't
okay,
have to
okay.
upgrade.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, hi, Will. So, can we use a Databricks notebook for Python code compilation?
You want to run it on Databricks instead of running local. You want to run it on
No,
Databricks, right?
no, instead of VS Code.
Yeah, yeah. You want to use what editor?
Instead
It's
of
not.
Visual Code editor, can we use a Databricks notebook? There also we can have option to execute PySpark or SQL and
Yeah, you can use it. I'll tell you what are the difficulties are there. So here we are going to run. So if you see my local, right, I can access RDS because AWS CLI is installed. I can access AWS CLI is installed in my Windows. Okay, and
okay,
I can access S3. I can access RDS. I can access DynamoDB. Everything from my local. I can also from my Visual Studio Code. I can create resources. I can run Terraform and create a glue. I can create RDS. I can create Terraform. So we are not only working on Spark, right? We are using like Python here. We are working on Terraform code here. So we are working on multiple things. So if you want to run only
okay,
Spark code, you can use Databricks. That will be
okay,
fine. But other things you have to use local environment.
okay, got it.
The thing is like you can take all the notebooks. So whatever the notebooks we run, right? all these notebooks, you can run it on Databricks also. But only thing is there are some configuration you have to change it.
Okay.
That if you can do it, then you can run it on. So for example, this code, right? I can run it because it's there in S3 from Databricks also. You can access S3. If you configure the thing, right, you can use it. I'll help you for configuration. You can use S3, you can run all the code. But
Okay.
the problem will be with RDS, the DynamoDB, which may not work from that environment. So if you're going to work with RDS, right, it may not work from Databricks because RDS is running on VPC, okay, virtual private network. So
Okay.
from Databricks, you cannot communicate with RDS. So that will be a problem. Glue will work, but from Databricks, you cannot connect with RDS and use it.
Then fine, then I will use ways with that.
Yeah. But you can, for Spark, you can always use Databricks. Side by side, you can use Databricks also. So you get to know Databricks better also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, you said everything on local, right? Like notebooks and all. But will you also show us on AWS portal, like how to create notebooks and
Yeah, I'm going to show that also. You will be doing UI also. So for example, in Glue, right? I'll show you using Visual ETL. Like in Glue, you have Visual ETL where you can drag and drop. Like I can create, so I can access source, I can access targets, I can create a data pipeline. I'll show this how to use Visual ETL, and also I'll show you how to create scripts, how to access from UI, how to create all the services. That also I'm going to show. Other than that, the automation is the added one which we are doing. So if you don't want to do it, the automation you can use it from UI itself.
yeah, just want to know, like
Yeah. We'll be seeing it. We'll be seeing it.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? So the document will be shared in the WhatsApp and the recorded video will be shared in WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, fine. If there is no question, we will stop for the day and then we will connect again on Monday. Okay. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Well.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks.